Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another week at Drone DJ. And this week, in case you haven't seen it, it's all about the DJI Matrix 350. Kirk, what did you think? You wrote the article about it.
Yeah, so pretty awesome looking little drone. Well, not little drone, big drone. It's their biggest drone, not their biggest drone, but their biggest enterprise drone. So yeah, so it looks pretty. I mean, it's a long time coming, but the M300 came out. When did the M300? A few years ago, right?
2020, I believe.
Yeah, so it was about time that it gets like an upgrade, and it's not like a full on version change upgrade. It's still the M300.
It's
And
an improvement.
The M350. Yeah,
right.
But it has and pretty much all the stuff that pretty much came out with the M30 in the M350 now. Like it's kind of like when the M30 came out last year, it's kind of like, oh well, this seems like a better drone to get than the M300 right now, unless you need those 2 payloads or 3 payloads. But now it's like, okay, now like this is top dog again. Like this is the M350 is back to being the flagship camera pretty much, or drone for enterprise use.
The largest enterprise drone DJI ever had was the M600. Back then, if you wanted to do interchangeable payload, obviously it's larger with heavier payload options. But M300 since 2020 has been really their flagship enterprise drone, top of the line. There hasn't been any other talks about having a bigger drone. So right now, the M300 series, right now the new version is 350. Similar to when DJI released M200, there was M200, and then there was an M210 for the improvement. So this is M350, which is an improvement on the M300.
Which I'm sure then.
Let's quickly go through the specs difference, and then we can talk about the high level. Who is the drone for? Is this the right one for you? I wrote down a comparison. I actually had the spec sheet from M300 and then a spec sheet from M350, and just set them side by side. So the first one is increased video link. So OcuSync technology improved on the M350, which used to be 15 kilometers for the range. Right now it's 20 kilometers for the range, but only if you look at FCC. Right, if it's Europe, then it's restricted to 8 kilometers by regulation, so it doesn't really matter.
And then apparently,
hi to our audience. Thanks for joining us. Drop a note.
And then apparently, whether or not that's what the FCC allows you to say, but apparently can go much further. That's what we've learned from like Mini 3 in Australia can go like much further.
And we're talking about, keep in mind, we're talking about ideal scenarios and abstracted, right? And abstracted, clear visual line of sight or no obstructions in between, etc. But still, that's an improvement from it just means that if you have interference when you're flying closer, then you're going to have much stronger signal. On that note, I'll just share several times when we turned on the M30T and we had, Mini 3 on the side, because we use Mini 3 to capture air-to-air all the time when we're doing enterprise test. So I can tell you several times we just keep seeing RC signal interference as soon as you turn the enterprise on. Just goes to show you, yeah, definitely if you have stronger signal, it does interfere with smaller drones.
Yeah, it's you don't want to be flying your Mini 3 around this thing probably. There was also stuff with the M30, which is interesting. If you go to the Matrix 600 page on DJI, it puts you to the M30.
Yeah, they redirect it.
It's like suggests you to the M30. I'm like, can I have the M300 first? Actually, I feel like if you're going for the M600, you want at least the M300. But
now, there's a very, very slight change in weight. The M350 is about 200 grams heavier for the overall takeoff weight. And with the gimbal, the standard weight is about 170 grams heavier. The max wind resistance also is interesting. The M300 actually has 15 meters per second, and M350 is actually a lower wind rating. It's only 12 meters per second. So that's almost a 20% lower in wind resistance. Max flight time right now is showing the same 55 minutes, but I wanted to talk about that with the battery and the weight. The battery voltage is different. If you look at the M300, there was a 12 cell battery, and on the M350, it looks like it's now a 10 cell battery. So I'm not sure why they dropped the voltage on the battery, and that with the increased weight, still saying that this is the same 55 minutes flight time, which means there is some improvement done on the flight controller, on the overall design, just like what happened to the Mavic 3, right, versus Mavic 2. That's really helping to increase it. It's not the weight or the battery that's increasing the flight time. Looks like there's improvement on the overall system that's like optimization, right, to improve the flight time.
For
sorry, go ahead.
For a drone that's pretty much a brick, which is impressive. So.
And there's also improved IP protection rating on the M350. It's now 55, right, versus 45.
The controller is 54 because now it comes standard with the. You're probably
well, it's the new controller on the M350. Now it's RC Plus. It definitely is my favorite controller. However, the RC Plus is compatible with the M300 now. So that's the.
But now, if you're buying a new drone, you're not getting what was the RC Pro Enterprise?
Before, it was the Smart Controller Enterprise.
Oh, Smart Controller.
Yes. Ooh. We're talking about Mavic 2 Pro time.
Ooh, like that's high tech right there. So yeah, you're no longer
definitely glad they changed it to RC Plus.
Yeah. I'm sure I don't know what the prices are on this. I didn't check prices. Because I don't think we got the prices in the press release.
No, there were a little bit of leak from one of the Australian dealers. Speculated somewhere in the 11 to 12,000 USD. But keep in mind
still cheaper than the Inspire 3. Interesting.
Wow, keep in mind this is without payload. So if you look at payload options,
a couple more thousand.
Well, so depending on which payload you go for. The Matrix 350 payloads, well, essentially there's no payload update. First of all, it's all the same M300 payload are still compatible with Matrix 350, but you can put up to 3 payloads on the M350 at the same time, 1 on the top and 2 at the bottom. So if you add all the costs for payload, if you go for the let's say the Net Vision one, the 20N, the H20T, and if you get LiDAR, it's gonna be way more expensive than Inspire.
Yeah, you're talking about 30,000 probably, some of that. I'm sure the price went up a bit with that RC Plus, because I think I saw there's some document somewhere for like our DJI Canada, I think, that puts the price of the RC Plus, just the RC Plus alone, at $2,000.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, so which I don't think that's on the website because most of their enterprise stuff you have to like reach out to them for.
Yeah, and most enterprise stuff, the package pricing is out there. Most of the enterprise, even on DJI website is there, but the individual, it's very rare to buy individual items for the enterprise.
Yeah, I don't even think the RC Plus. I tried looking for it; it's not even on the website at all. Like you can get like the RC Pro Enterprise, RC Smart Control Enterprise. I think it's on the website. You can buy it individually, but not.
I don't think you can buy that at all anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can buy it anymore. But you used to be able to. But like every other controller is out there, you can buy individually. But the RC Plus is not even listed on their site of controllers.
Now that RC Plus is compatible with M300, I'm sure owners of M300, if you're planning to update, they can get the RC Plus separately.
I'm sure you have to once you go through their enterprise contracts. Like, yeah, we'll say this. You also want to buy a subscription of Terra? Like
right now, subscription of Terra, if you buy DJI Enterprise, you still get 3 months for free.
Ooh, nice.
And if you buy the Mavic 3 multispectral, you get the access to DJI's like the agriculture multispectral analysis tool for 12 months for free.
So it makes my business to do agricultural scanning much cheaper because I don't have to pay for the
there
first 12
you
months.
go.
Still have to buy the drone, but like at least I don't have to buy the software for 12 years.
Now, turning back to M350, let's finish covering the specs. FPV camera slightly improved or different depending on how you look at it. So on the M350, it's now 1080p. Versus it used to be 960p on the M300. And we're talking about just the first person view, right? Not your actual payload camera, just for navigation. But the field of view is only 142 degrees versus M300. The field of view was 145 degrees. Slight narrower. Payload all the same as we mentioned. Now there is a new detection for the arm lock. This is one of the complaints from many M300 users. They were saying that the arm lock, it wasn't having any detection or warning before. So at least now there is the arm lock detection, which is helpful. Also on the top, there is the radar obstacle detection. So I do like the top detection level, because this drone is mostly designed for inspection work, right? So a lot of infrastructure inspection, if you got wirings, a lot of under the bridge inspection. So having a radar detection on the top definitely comes in handy. Along with the
because
inspection,
the optical stuff is not going to see a wire.
no.
Not even close. Yeah.
Along with for detection work, there is also live mission recording. So at first I was looking at live mission recording. What does that do?
Mhm.
It's actually a repeatable mission. So you can record your flight, and obviously you can repeat it. There's also AI spot check. So if you're doing infrastructure inspection, checking for wear and tear, checking for cracks and different spots on either infrastructure, let's say a hydro tower, there's actually an AI driven spot check. So far, these two on the RC Plus controller, I've only seen these two for M350 or 300 series in general. I'm not seeing this for M30, M30T. So it would be interesting to know if that's going to be just a firmware update later. From the,
Sounds like
I mean,
it's
ultimately it's from your Pilot 2 and the RC
Mhm.
Plus controller, right? Your operating system. Would
Yeah.
be, especially if it's AI driven, would be nice to know if that can be, supported for M30 as well.
AI is making it to drones too. We're gonna have AI powered drones soon enough. Did you mention that the arm lock is both it's both in the app and also like hardware visual as well?
No, actually, I wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention to the hardware one. So it's
Yeah,
actually
so
visual?
on the arms, there's like now visual indicators that like help you better lock it down,
Lock
and then
it?
also in the Pilot 2 app, it'll tell you whether it'll restrict your flight
Right,
from anything. So it's
right.
kind of cool to have something like that. I mean, I mentioned in our article that like for us, I think I mentioned us mere mortals who only fly like the Mavic 3 and Mini 3. It would be near impossible for us to fly our drones with like not a fully deployed arm. Maybe 3 arms, it could probably somewhat get up, but I don't think it will do well. I actually haven't tried it. Maybe there is a sensor on there too. But
It's
like for
supposed
the
to.
M300, you could take off and all of a sudden the arm come loose. So
Yeah, so it should be able to land with one propulsion system or one arm going down.
yeah.
That's one of the safety improvements. Now, I did see complaints on the original M300 talking about the landing gear, like over time, the landing gear. Actually, one of the videos was showing the landing gear actually fell in the air. So how do you
Interesting.
land the drone if the landing gear is gone?
The landing
So
gear falls off.
there had been wear and tear on certain components on the
Yeah.
M300, and so far once we've gone over the specs, really, if you look at the
Mhm.
M350, we're not talking about an entire new drone, right? This is an improvement based on the M300.
Mhm.
DJI did listen to a lot of the user feedback and made the improvements on the M350. So if you're in the market looking for a drone with heavier payload and that can carry multiple payloads at the same time, can mount the gimbal, especially upside down for a lot of the bridge and infrastructure inspection. If that's your need, then M350 is still the top option in the market.
Are you getting one?
I don't know yet. I'm pretty
You have an
happy.
M300?
If you ask me, no, we have M300.
Mhm.
And most of the work right now after M3E and M3T came out, I love M3E and M3T for basically the versatility and the size. And then we'll also
Mhm.
have the M30T. So I would say maybe 90% of our work is done with the smaller platform. But we do have clients who just have the need for the bigger, M350. Like I said, bigger infrastructure, more complex projects, and a lot of that is done internally, depending on the organization, depending on certain requirements. They can't outsource, right, to service providers. So they definitely still have that need. With RTK as well on the M350. So if you're working with any hydro inspections, anything that may have, let's say, electromagnetic interference, then having the RTK not relying on your compass or your GPS signal comes in super handy.
Yeah. Is it wait? I just mentioned saw them in the comments where it says backward compatible batteries. I didn't see that press release. Did you? Is that something you mentioned?
I wasn't sure
I
if
just
I wanted to mention that. Yes, we did see somewhere. I couldn't find it this morning,
yeah.
but I did see
I didn't see
somewhere.
it in the press release anywhere. I was looking for it, like see somewhere it said
It
it.
wasn't officially in the press release, but I did see it somewhere.
But If it's the same drone, they got to be pretty much the same batteries. I mean, not same
lower,
battery.
well, it's lower
slots.
voltage. It's
just lower voltage, which might be a problem if it's a lower voltage.
So my recommendation would be, if you have an M300 and you're getting the M350 batteries, definitely double check your firmware for updates.
Just throw it in there and see what happens.
Make sure you get insurance first and DJI Care. But I suspect it has to be a mandatory firmware update, right? There's got to be something to do on the firmware end.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. Yeah, I mean, I could totally see that them not being backwards compatible if they're lower voltage. I mean, that battery case though is pretty slick. Does the M300 has something similar? The battery
M350's case is definitely better. It's they don't call it a battery case anymore. They call it a battery station. And it's the same one. It's the same one for the M30T, just a little smaller because the batteries are a little smaller. I have to say, yeah, it's my favorite. That battery battery station, definitely super helpful when you're out there on the field.
Yeah, I wish they would make something like that for the Mavic 3. Like, I feel like there's definitely definitely a product available for just having a small little box, a small little box. It's be big, just a small little thing.
Yeah, I don't have a case for a station for Mavic 3, but I did have to buy third party.
I just have these just laying around.
I did have to buy third party battery chargers for M3.
Yeah.
The one that charges multiple batteries all at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm. Although that 100-watt charging brick now, it's actually pretty slick. Like it charges them pretty quickly. You might, if you're out there on the field,
you need to charge them together. I've got 3 Mavic 3. There's Mavic 3, Mavic 3 Pro, Mavic 3, actually 4, Mavic 3 Enterprise, Mavic 3 Thermal. So definitely I've got enough batteries that I need to charge them all at the same time.
But even just having because these sit at pretty much 100% all the time. Like, I know it's not right. Like, you should put them at around 50% or lower. Well, that would be nice to have.
It's supposed to self-discharge. So it's supposed to self-discharge depending on how many days you set it, right?
Yeah. So but when I'm not using it, if I don't fly for a couple of days, I just set it fully charged. Or they said dead. It's that's legitimately they're either fully charged or dead. There's no in between.
One of the
maybe one of them's half charged from a flight.
One of the improvements for the M350 batteries, they did say the life cycle is increased to 400. So it should give you a longer, actual more use out of it.
It's one of those they've upgraded the batteries and downgraded the batteries at the same time. But I guess it evens out to where it's pretty much the same battery, but just it might not be compatible with the M300. So
no, officially I didn't see that anywhere. I guess
I haven't seen it either. So I haven't seen anything about battery compatibility anywhere. So maybe I'll reach out today and see if they are, and then we'll add it to the article.
Knowing DJI, the chances of them being compatible is very slim, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of hope on them being compatible, but especially being an enterprise product. But it being an enterprise product, I think there's more hope that they're compatible.
M210 was compatible with M200 for the batteries. Yeah. So I guess we'll see.
Enterprise products always just have that extra level of just I wish this was in consumer products where everything's compatible with each other or in some sort of way.
Okay, enterprise products do not have quick shots or master shots.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
and it's a choice. It's a choice by DJI.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't. Yeah, it just also makes sense why you don't need it, but also you never know. You want to make that cool montage.
One of those would be nice.
I was I really wish I could take this really awesome cinematic shot of this power tower and just be it was damn,
Well, a lot of times I've seen people saying, "Oh, I was out there doing an inspection and the light was just right. The view was just right. I wish."
Creators gotta create.
Yeah.
That's going to be our new push now with DJI. Add master
or just get a M3 Pro and carry it anywhere with you.
No, just get
that's an option too.
Yeah, I think next week I'm taking the M3 Pro to sailboat racing.
That should be fun.
Did not know that existed, but especially in Milwaukee. But we're doing it next week, so I can't wait. RC
Okay,
Plus.
so that's
Yeah.
where it comes in because the RC Plus, we know that's compatible, but the new TB65 are listed as accessories for M300. Okay.
Didn't even check to see it because I just assumed the M300 was done. They were just going to discontinue it on the website, so
But
I
I
didn't
guess
even
the
check that.
specs are still there.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense that would. So, yeah. So, all right. Yeah, cool. So the backwards compatible. Hopefully, with
Yeah,
firmware
thank you
update.
to look.
Make sure your firmware updates.
Yeah,
though.
good job finding it. So that's everything on the M350. As we mentioned, if you're looking for that multi-payload platform and you have the need for a bigger drone that's a little more sturdy, a little more durable, then M350 is still the one to go. I mean, in terms of drone weight class, it's still there. You've got the M350 class, the M30 class, and then the M3. They each have their market. Right. So if this is what you're looking for, this is still a great drone. Definitely improvement from the M300 after 3 years. So still looking forward to see how M350 actually pans out. But personally, I really hope DJI releases something as a variation to the M30 as well. That gives it, because M30T will use it all the time for security and other operations. But I wish DJI would have something for the the current M30 is not really a survey drone. Actually, it doesn't do as good as even the M3E.
So that like multispectral.
No, just topo, like photogrammetry for survey.
Gotcha.
So I hope they will do some improvement on just the M30, make it a better version of the M3E, and then we're pretty complete with a product line.
And in like 3-4 years, maybe we'll get an M400.
Hopefully, not that long. We shall see. So that's our recap on the M350. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and we will circle back as soon as we see official prices coming out. You can speculate the product price as much as we can, but you never know until the official price comes out.
It's
so
out of our budgets, though. So
yeah,
it's out of our budgets. Me type people. It's out of our budgets. Don't even try.
Well, we will see you back here next week.